All right, so how do you know if you got enough sealer onto the pavers? Because what you'll find is we either do a 2-coat or a 3-coat spray on almost every single thing that we spray sealer on. But if the customer only wants 2 coats, sometimes you're going to spray that sealer on and it's just soaking it up as soon as you spray. So the rule of thumb is, if you look out here now, Eli's just finished the 2nd coat of spraying the sealer. And you've still got a little bit of puddling of sealer in the joints. That's okay. We're not freaking out now. We want that to sit there for about 10-15 minutes. After about 15 minutes, we really need to start working that in so it doesn't crystallize. But again, if it happens right after you spray, it's no reason to panic. But what we want is, when we spray the sealer, you don't want it to soak up right then. So what we like to do is, when we spray it, and if it's still white, it's got that white haze, we like that to be on there for at least a good 30 seconds before it just starts drying up. You don't want to spray it and then it soaks up right away. So it's kind of called the 10-foot rule. We spray it, and then once we're about 10 feet away from wherever we sprayed, if you can still see the sealer sitting on top and it's white, then you know that those pavers are kind of at their saturation point. They're not going to take much more sealer. If you've done 2 coats, it doesn't hurt anything to go in there and ask that customer if they want a 3rd coat. Or let's say a reverse situation. The customer wants 3 coats, we spray 2 coats, and it just won't take anymore. You've sprayed and you've walked 10 feet and it's not soaking up. You've walked 20 feet and it's still not soaking up. You gotta let that customer know. So, hey, listen, I know that you paid for 3 coats, but in this rare circumstance, it's not going to take a 3rd coat. So we need to stop right there. It's always a 2-coat minimum, 99 out of 100 times. But there are those situations where you can't spray any more than a coat or 2. I think in 3 years, there's only been 1 instance where even 1 coat was too much. But the other 1,000 times, 2 coats always minimum. But right now we have a 3-coat option, and sometimes it just won't hold anymore, so you got to let the customer know, and that's that 10-foot rule that we're referring to. Now, if after about 10-15 minutes you can wait and spray another coat, you want to do that on a case-by-case basis. But the general rule of thumb is that 10-foot rule. After you sprayed, you've walked 10 feet. If it's still there, then you know you're good to go. But you can see some of this puddling is starting to settle down. It's getting into the joints. So we're going to just keep an eye on this for about another 10-15 minutes. After that, whatever's left over, we'll get a blower and lightly blow. You don't want to put it on full blast and blow all the sand everywhere. Or most of the time we can just use a broom and get up this excess. So that's it.